In Akaji land, it was a taboo to have twins. It was believed that they brought bad luck to the land. So in that village, whenever a couple gave birth to twins, the babies were killed so they wouldn't bring calamity to the land. There was a couple who didn't have a child after 5 years of marriage, but they eventually conceived. They rejoiced at the good news of the coming of their baby and waited with joy for his or her birth. However, after 9 months, the wife gave birth to twin girls. Their happiness was cut short as they knew what this meant. They quickly decided that they were going to give one of the babies away and keep one instead of the 2 babies being killed. So, very early the next morning, before the cock crowed and the whole village was sound asleep, they decided which baby to give away. With pain in their hearts, they bid one of their babies goodbye, as the husband quickly took one of the baby who was asleep and placed her in a basket. He then took her to the border of a village which was far from theirs and left her there, and hoping that someone would see her and take her. After a few hours, an hunter coming back from his hunting passed by and saw the beautiful baby and was surprised. He called other villagers who saw the beautiful baby girl and took pity on her, and so they took her to the king to decide what they would do with the child. The king decided that one of his chiefs and his wife would raise the baby, and he named her Yagazi. Both of the girls grew to become beautiful maidens, but they looked identical. However, they both had different personalities. Yagazi had a cheerful personality. She was outgoing, social and friendly, and she loved interacting with people. Ihuoma, on the other hand, was quiet and loved to keep to herself. She didn't have many friends and wasn't good in interacting with people, but none of them knew that they had a twin sister somewhere. One day, Chinonso, who was the prince of the village where Ihuoma lived, was strolling in the village one day when he noticed Ihuoma was taking a stroll with her friends. He was attracted to her beauty and he stopped and stared at her, but couldn't speak to her because she was in the company of her friends, so he was hoping to see her another day. The next time he saw Ihuoma again, he tried to speak with her, but she avoided speaking to him as she was the quiet type. After some time, Prince Chinonso was invited along with his father the king to another village for their New Yam festival. During the ceremony, Chinonso saw Yagazi dancing passionately with her friends, but he thought she was Ihuoma. However, he noticed that her hair was different and that she was more free and lively here, which was the opposite of what she was when he saw her before. But he pushed the thought aside and told himself that maybe this was her village and that she was visiting someone in his village when he first saw her. After the event, Chinonso went to speak with Yagazi, thinking she was Ihuoma, but he was surprised to see that she was more friendly and open to speaking to him. They spent that evening taking a stroll around the village where they gisted. Prince Chinonso was happy that finally she was speaking to him, not knowing that this was Yagazi, not Ihuoma. He told her that he would like to see her again and invited her to his kingdom for their New Yam festival, which was happening in 2 market days. Yagazi was excited about this and accepted the offer. 2 market days came and it was time for Yagazi to attend the festival she was invited to. When she got there, she met the prince at the entrance of the village and they were happy to see each other. He then told Yagazi to wait for him at the road that led to the stream, as he had prepared to take her on a picnic, but he forgot to bring the fruit that she told him she liked to eat, and so she decided to wait for him. As she stood on the bush path patiently waiting, Ihuoma was also coming to fetch water at the same time, and so she met Yagazi. She was surprised to be face to face with someone who looked exactly like her. They both weren't sure what was going on as they stood there staring at each other without saying a word. At that moment, Prince Chinonso walked in to see the 2 ladies who looked exactly alike standing near each other. He suspected that they were twins because of the law in the village which was against twins. After they spoke to each other, they decided to ask Ihuoma's mother how this was possible and if they were twins. On getting there, their mother was shocked to see both her twin girls, and she bursted into tears as she embraced Yagazi, whom she had not seen since she was a baby. She was happy that Yagazi was alive and healthy. She then asked her about her life and the parents who raised her. She also told them the story of how she and her husband, who was now late, were forced to give up one of their twins because of the law against twins in the village. Yagazi was happy to meet her mother and told her about the chief and his wife who raised her when she was able to live on her own. She then decided to continue living with her mother and twin sister in their village. From time to time, the prince will come to visit them and bring gifts for them, and they will go together for walks in the village, and they grew closer. They lived in harmony and peace, but something was threatening to take their unity. That was the fact that both twins loved the prince, because he had approached the both of them without knowing they were twins, and they started to like him too. But Prince loved Yagazi. One day, Ihuoma was excited about the possibility of her and the prince being together, and she told Yagazi about it. Yagazi felt bad because she also liked the prince, but she decided to hide her feelings for him. The next day, the prince invited Yagazi for a walk and told her that he had the intention of marrying her. Yagazi was surprised, but she rejected the proposal even though she would have loved to marry him. She told him that her sister liked him and that she wanted to do everything to make her sister happy, since they are just reconnected after being apart for years. The prince was not happy to hear this, but he told her that she was the one he loved and that he wouldn't give up on her, but that he would give her time to think about it. The prince continued visiting the girls in their home, but he would show preferential treatment to Yagazi. Whenever he bought things for them, he would always give Yagazi the best of the things and always show her more attention and care than her sister. With time, Ihuoma started to notice this and felt bad, because despite the signals she was sending to the prince that she liked him, he was only seeing her sister and only had eyes for her sister. One day, she asked the prince about it, and he told her the truth, that he liked her sister, but that her sister wouldn't agree to marry him, so as not to hurt Ihuoma's feelings. Ihuoma was shocked that Yagazi would give up her happiness for her own. When she got home, she met Yagazi and told her that she had come to realize that she didn't really like the prince, but she just liked the attention he used to give her when he was chasing her initially, and that any feeling she had for him had slowly died when she noticed that the prince loved Yagazi instead. They both bursted out in tears and embraced each other, but their troubles were far from over. The villagers who had seen the twins together went to report to the king because they were afraid the twins would bring bad luck to their community. The next morning, the king sent his guard to arrest Yagazi and Ihuoma and threw them into the royal prison. Then, strange things started happening in the village. Children started falling sick around the village. It was serious, and people believed it was the twins who had brought the calamity to the kingdom. They asked the king to kill the twins so that their kingdom can be free from the strange illness. However, the prince, who was in love with Yagazi, wasn't going to let her die. He decided to get to the root cause of the situation. He visited the sick children one after the other and also invited herbal treaters from neighboring villages. From this, he was able to find out that while the children were playing as a group in the bush, they came across a poisonous mushroom which they did not know was poisonous, and so they ate it, and that was why they became sick due to the poison. The herbal treaters then prepared herbs that could cure the poison from the mushroom for the children, and so they became well again. When the king heard that the children were sick due to the mushroom they ate and not due to the bad luck of having twins, he was remorseful and released the girls from the prison. As soon as they were released, Yagazie ran and embraced the prince who were waiting for them. She told him that she had accepted his marriage proposal and they were both very happy. When they got home, their mother was happy to hear the double good news, that her daughters were released and that Yagazie was going to marry Prince Chinonso. The king made an announcement abolishing the law of killing twins in the land. The prince and Yagazie got married and had twins, which were a boy and a girl. Ihuoma and her mother also lived in the palace and they had royal status. Ihuoma also got married to the love of their life and they all live happily ever after. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please don't forget to like, share and also subscribe to our channel. It will mean a lot.